Now, we had the DHL Stormers in just yesterday.
Yes.
Their assistant coach has such a beautiful story. Now, his name is, Rito Hlongwane. He was a civil engineer somewhere in the Northern Cape for Eskom.
What?
And then he got the call from Gert Smal to do the under-19 setup, which obviously led him to move through the structures. 7 years ago, he was working for Eskom.
Well, that's probably why Eskom's the way it is now. They lost a great talent.
It is a story that reminded me that not all careers are linear. It's not always going to be submit CV to accounting firm accept CV, you get a job as an accountant, you live happily ever after. It doesn't always work that way. So I brought producer Petrus in here because he's also got one of those stories. I want you to share your story today.
Many years ago, I wasn't in this industry. I was in the IT industry.
Whoa, hold on. Did we know that?
I didn't.
Canal Walk had just opened, and I remember KFM was there doing a radiothon for something.
Yes.
And I went to go volunteer.
What a lovely IT guy you were.
And I ended up sitting next to Marentia van der Vent, who we later became friends. But what I didn't know was that she actually worked for KFM. Mm-hmm. She worked in their news department, and I wanted to work in news. And she slipped me an email address, and I kept getting no's when I emailed this person to say that I want to work in news, I want to intern. And eventually I got the email address of the CEO of KFM at that stage.
Yes.
And I emailed her, and the following weekend I started as an intern at KFM in the news department.
That is amazing.
You were an IT guy. Sorry, I was like, I'm shocked. How did I not know this about you? The weirdest thing is, you have so much frustration with IT, man. When things go wrong, I hear you complaining from inside the soundproof booth. You're like, I'm going to call IT. And I didn't realize that there was deep-seated trauma.
The trauma is I can fix it, but I don't have the passwords.
If your entry into your industry was non-linear, whatever that may be, I think you should showcase that today. Hello, Danya.
I studied to become a scuba diving instructor.
Wow.
And I went to go work as a diving instructor in Mauritius. One weekend, my boss fell ill with malaria and said to me I'd have to take over the wedding photography for the weekend.
You were literally thrown into the deep end, which makes sense.
Thrown into the deep end that Sunday. Here's a camera. I had never done this before, and off I was photographing a wedding underwater. This was so much fun, and I was so good at it that I carried on doing photography, and it ended up that I published a book on underwater photography all over the world. It's been translated into 3 or 4 languages. And then I published another coffee table book, and I've published several books overseas, and I'm still a photographer to this day, 20 years later.
The thing is, if the boss didn't get sick, you wouldn't have been thrown into this amazing world. It would have just been you scuba diving.
I don't know where I would have come across that opportunity.
It's safe to say you can either sink or swim, and you swam.
Exactly.
Underwater.
You swam really well.
Shantae.
After school, I was paid in America.
Yeah.
And when I came back, I studied sound engineering, but there weren't any jobs in sound engineering, so I was a waitress. And then I was like, I'm done. I don't want to be a waitress anymore. I want to go to wilderness. Like that exact week, one of my mom's friends called me this Sunday, and they were like, hi, we need a marketing assistant. Can you please come assist us? Started there. I actually taught myself how to do social media, how to do designs, how to do websites, everything, built my way up, became the head of marketing, and then I decided to start my own marketing agency, and that's what I'm doing now.
Wow.
That is crazy. Because I just heard sound engineering, then I heard waitress, and now I hear marketing. That is...
Started off as an au pair.
That is...
It's been a journey.
Next up. Hello, Teresa.
I started off at law school, and I lasted all of 3 months before realizing that I was not going to marry an accountant and have a white picket fence life. Then decided to do a skipper's course, jumped on the first yacht that was leaving South Africa, traveled the world, came back, and by absolute chance got into the diamond industry. So from there, opened a store for one of the largest diamond retailers in the country. And out of that, went into auto electrics, where I was a client relations manager selling auto alternators and starter motors, which I know absolutely nothing about. And then from there, I met my then ex-husband and went into the restaurant industry, where we opened up this Italian restaurant, did that for a couple of years. And then after that, I was his understudy. He's a fashion designer, and I now have my own clothing manufacturing and design company.
This is so insane.
Listening to your story, Teresa, throughout that entire narrative that you've just given us, the constant has been you.
And I also love that you're not too late to change your mind.
There's a massive message to you, knowing that if you are looking for success, dear young person, dear anybody, look in a mirror.
The show that drives you home with the most music. The Flash Drive with Carl Wastie. Only on KFM 94.5.